The gold to silver ratio is currently sitting at over 102 ounces of silver to just 1 ounce of gold. That ratio is really important. It's a good indicator of what might be the better metal to buy, and it's pointing at silver. And that stretching ratio says to me as well that one of two things is likely to happen. Either gold is going to have a price correction downwards, or silver is going to pull itself up by the bootstraps and have a price correction upwards. Now, which way is it going to go? I have no idea, and I'm not here to give you financial advice or to predict the future. But we can at least look at some of the bigger questions out there that affect these kind of things and what we as stackers might be able to think about in terms of our own finances, our own personal situations, and what's right for us. So let's dive in and have a good old precious metal ramble about the gold to silver ratio and what we can do about it. Hello everybody, Backyard Bullion here, and a very warm welcome to you all joining me for another precious metal ramble. Gold to silver ratio time, 100 plus to 1. Here we have 100 ounces of silver to 1 ounce of gold, plus the 2, and I think it's like 2.5 right now. It's crazy how much gold has gone up and silver just hasn't. Now, there are reasons for that. We know that silver is a volatile metal. It's more of an industrial metal, and it has more of a market flux when things are crazy, and you can bet your bottom dollar that things are crazy right now. So where will things end up? It's very difficult to know, and there's a lot of people, I'm seeing it a lot now on social media and from the big dealers, gold being at those all-time highs, it is maybe better to look to buy the silver right now than to buy the gold. And I would argue to a certain degree, yes, silver is looking very good as a buy right now. However, it is important to buy it in the right way. If you're going to go out and buy silver, in the UK especially, from bullion dealers, you're going to get stung with VAT and premiums, and that's not really taking advantage of the full ratio. So how do we take advantage of the full ratio? Is it even possible? Can we swap some gold for silver? Is now a right time to swap? I've certainly seen quite a lot of people on social media talking about swapping gold for silver. Oh gosh, when you pile up all the silver like that and you put just 1 ounce of gold out there, that is a staggering difference. That really is that hits home when you see that. One little piece of gold to one giant pile of silver. You could argue you're getting a lot more value out of the silver than you are the gold, but there are other benefits for having gold instead of silver. So it's not easy and clear cut as just saying that the ratio is over 100 to 1 right now, you should buy silver. But it is a warning sign that I think you should pay some attention to that world of silver. Certainly, if you've been ignoring it for a long time thinking gold is the only way forwards, you cannot ignore the fact that there is more opportunity in silver. It is more volatile. That is the whole point of silver. It is, well, I say that's the whole point of silver. It's not the whole point of silver, but there is a lot of volatility that comes with silver. It is much more of an industrial metal than gold is. And as a consequence, you find that the swings in the markets are a lot more volatile. And it has often a bit of a correlation with stocks and shares. Now, you might think that's a little bit of a weird thing to say, that silver often has correlations with stocks and shares. And part of the reason for that is because physical silver, we all love it here on the channel. If you've been watching for a long time, if you're a silver bug, if you're a stacker, you'll have that giant stack of silver physical. But unfortunately, the vast majority of silver that's in this world is paper contracts. And it's essentially just a bit of an ETF, a bit of an electronic tracker fund that you just will find that big companies and hedge funds and wealth management organizations will put money into as a protection, as a hedge. It's still not quite as volatile as some of the other stocks and shares out there, but often it is used as a place to park money. And when you have big dips in markets and you get margin calls and bets have gone the wrong way, gold is never the first thing to go. Gold always stays in its firm place as the #1 monetary reserve metal. Silver, on the other hand, is that first thing to go. And we've seen this time and time again. I remember COVID, when that first really reared its ugly head, silver went down a long, long way. So it is a difficult one to predict where it's going to go. And it's very hard to know what will happen coming down in the coming weeks and months. It seems to change every bloody day at the moment. But what we can say for sure is that things are going to be volatile and that silver has got this opportunity to go up in value. Gold, already at those all-time highs, seems to have less opportunity to go up even more. That's not to say that it won't, but it certainly looks like it could have a price correction downwards. Now, before we dive in a little bit more, I do want to just share a quick word from today's sponsor, Trusty Metrics. Testing your precious metals and making sure that they are indeed precious is really important. And to that end, I'm very happy to partner with Trusty Metrics, who are the UK's exclusive supplier of the Sigma precious metal verifiers. But it's not just the UK, they can supply all around the world, and they are really good at what they do. The machines are fantastic, and I stand by them as incredibly valuable pieces of kit to have for any stacker or small business or big investor. Whether you are testing gold on the investor model or testing big 100-ounce silver or indeed gold bars, they can test up to those big chunky gold ones as well. These machines will not let you down. They are fantastic and they are really good. They've helped me grow my business over the last few years to levels that I thought I wouldn't really ever get to. So go and check out Trusty Metrics. You can go and ask them any questions about the products, the different machines that they've got, and everything that you would need to know. All of their information is on the website, as well as all the different machines that they've got available for sale. So go and check them out. And as I said, they ship worldwide and they'll help you test your stack. If there's something you're not sure about, their customer service is second to none. And I can highly recommend them, the team, and these machines. So go and check out Trusty Metrics. Links are down in the description box below. A big thank you to Trusty Metrics. Go and check them out. I've used them and those machines for years. They are fantastic and they are a really great company. So go and check them out. Now, as to the practicalities of taking advantage of this ratio change that we're seeing, how easy is that to do? Now, if you're in the US, you have a much better time of it than us Brits over here. We get taxed very heavily on our silver if you buy it from the raw mint directly. They will not only tax you, but they'll also fleece you. They are often more expensive than dealers, which makes absolutely zero sense. But even when you're buying from dealers, you'll have to pay VAT, sales tax. 20% is what we have to pay, which sucks. There is no sales tax on gold, so you're automatically in a better position. But as I've always explored on this channel, right from the very first few weeks almost of doing videos here, there are ways around legally not paying the VAT, and that primarily revolves now around buying from second-hand markets, buying from private individuals, people who maybe want to cash out on some of their silver. I'm personally not cashing out on my silver. Unfortunately, I have to sell silver as part of my business from my hand-pulled silver. And at the moment, that does somewhat sort of irk me that I have to say goodbye to some of the silver. But I'm a business and that's how I make a living. So it has to be done. I separate very closely my private personal investments to my business assets. And the private stuff I'm not selling. But some people out there do. And there are a lot of people wanting to buy right now. So if you are looking to get hold of silver, it's well worth looking at those second-hand markets because you can get your silver for I can't even think what I was going to say there. A way amount cheaper, I think is what I was trying to say, than you can buying from a dealer. Just simple maths of it. And yes, you can still pay a bit of a premium. You often be looking right now about 28, 29, 30 pounds an ounce, depending on where you're buying, what quality the coins are. If they're like these ones here with me, if you're cringing and crying at me touching silver, then tough. That's what I do. And it's provocative. It gets the people going. If you don't like it, well, I mean, that's your problem really. Silver is silver at the end of the day. And, it's just about having that weight there. So from my perspective, my non-financial advice to you would be to make sure if you are buying silver to do it in the right way, in the right form, buy from second-hand sources. One of the best places to do that is the Silver Forum. I've been promoting and helping the Silver Forum grow for the last 9 years. If you've been living under a rock and you've never heard of it, it is one of the premier communities in the world for precious metal enthusiasts, and there is an incredibly good and thriving trade section there. There is also an incredible new forum coming, the Gold Forum, which I'll tell you more about in a few weeks and months, but it is an incredible place to buy. And I've bought 95% of my silver from the Silver Forum over my lifespan. It is one of the best places to buy it. And you can do so without the worry of the VAT side of things. Now, it doesn't quite stop there because unfortunately, even with gold, unless you're really lucky and you can buy silver at basically spot price, which has happened. I've bought silver at below spot price, big chunky bars. I've bought coins at spot price when People just want to sell and they just want to get it gone. They put a price up and it will go within seconds. And sometimes I'm lucky and I get in first, but it's not very common. But unless you're buying at spot price, you will struggle to get that return if you sell it back to a dealer. So you've got to always think about your exit strategies of where you're going to be with your silver at that point when you want to trade it out. So for right now, if you want to trade your gold for silver to play that ratio, it's not that difficult. You can just go and sell your gold Britannias to any dealer that is out there. They'll pay you spot price. And if they're not paying you spot price, shop around, because there are dealers that will pay you spot price. And you can then use the money that you get to buy the silver. I've done a video on an actual, like, if you can swap physically, like, would somebody do this right now? I would argue no, because you can get more money for your silver than you can from spot price if you sell on that second-hand market. If you put your post up on the silver forum right now for £28 an ounce for 100 ounces of silver, I pretty much guarantee that you'll sell them within a couple of hours. Pretty much. It depends on the quality. If they were really shocking quality, maybe these ones would have to be at £27 an ounce because I've put my grubby little fingers and hands all over them. But you see my point here, that they are easy to sell at a slightly higher price. Now, when people put price points of like £35 an ounce for their silver Britannias, they're not going to sell. And they're just going to sit there, well, why isn't it selling? The dealers sell it for that price. It's because the dealers have to pay VAT. And there are people who are savvy and who don't pay those prices. So you can get rid of your gold really easily, but silver less easily. So the benefits of gold right now are still relevant. It's not to be ignored. Yes, the ratio is saying silver is better, but quite frankly, gold is still a really good buy. And even at these all-time highs, and I was asked this by a customer the other day, whether or not still buying gold right now on a monthly basis is a good idea. Now, while I can't give financial advice, and I don't give financial advice to my customers, I will just remind people and tell you guys here on the camera as well that I've been buying gold this last year. I've been buying gold since it was 1800, 19, 2000, 22, 23, 24. I've even bought at £2,500 an ounce. I haven't bought this week. It peaked at 2,600. I haven't bought them, but it has dropped down a little bit now. So it is an interesting one to think about what's right for you in your circumstances. And that ratio is pointing towards silver a little bit, and it'll change. It's difficult to really know where things will go, especially with the almost daily change in the stocks and shares world, which has a direct effect on silver and gold. We're seeing the trouble in the stocks markets really making gold that popular choice. It's crazy how much it's gone up. I sometimes still can't. I have to pinch myself to believe it. But anyway, that is what it is. Now, for you Cool Kids Club members, you need to quote me something super cool in the comment section. And what I have got here is the current gold to silver ratio as it stands at the time of filming. So there you go. 102.44 is what you need to quote me down in that comment section to let me know that you are super cool. And it's important to do that because as we rein into 75,000 subs, I will be choosing one random video and one random cool kid commenter to win a super secret squirrel prize. So if you haven't subscribed, here's your reminder. Subscribe to the channel as we reach 75,000. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you on the next video. And as always, please make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.